What about the Steelers, though? We didn't really talk much about them. Do you think they're on the right track? What are they going to do?
I like that they're taking shots, right? I think we're all happy they're taking shots. It's a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more exciting brand of football, a little bit more winning brand of football. They weren't scared to death. Mitch was on the move a little bit too, had a couple good runs. We should keep an eye out for his quarterback rush yards because it sounds like Tomlin ain't thinking about making a move at all. Definitive no. Thank you for asking. And you can tell every Yinzer that too. When they come to Acrisure, they need not be singing that.
Why is that? Do you think it's because he feels like Kenny is not ready, or is it just he wants to protect him? What is it?
I don't know. We were all very excited to see how Tomlin would handle this. This is the first time Tomlin's had to handle this type of situation. A lot of other teams have had to handle this type of situation. Young quarterback drafted high, first-round draft pick. It is the program. It is the franchise. Do you put them in the water in the deep end and see how they go and let them learn as they go like Peyton Manning did in other successful stories? Or do you have them wait and kind of learn like Aaron Rodgers did, Tom Brady did? Like there's no real right answer. So I think that's why we were all excited to watch how Tomlin did it. I think Tomlin's big thing right now is publicly he has to give a message of confidence to the entire locker room about Mitchell Trubisky being the guy. Like, I think he has to say that because he doesn't want any conversations within the locker room to start straying in the same fashion that all the Yinzers have, which is like, why not Kenny Pickett? I don't know if Matt Canada is getting cooked as much. Is Matt Canada getting cooked except for the fact that he has a terrible annexation of Puerto Rico, Nick Morado?
No, I thought he called a pretty good first half. And then we said the second half, I don't know, things kind of changed up a little bit, wasn't as aggressive, but, they couldn't really run the ball that well, and they couldn't stop the run. So when you can't sustain drives, your defense is getting tired. Canada, I thought for the most part was decent last night.
I like that he just gave in to what everybody was saying, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he might have been like, you know what? Yeah, we probably should take some more shots down the field. We got to loosen this defense up.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, everybody's got a point. Yeah, I hear them. All right. Yeah, fuck. You're right. We take it none. Thank you for bringing that stat to my desk. Okay. Yinzers that have been yelling. We will start to do it because it was like a purposeful shot. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it came out of nowhere. Like we're going to try. And I think we've talked to Aaron. I don't know if it was Aaron or some other quarterback that's been on the show, but actual strategies. We need at least one shot a quarter. Like we need at least one shot. We need however it gets in there. We do not care. We need to keep people honest with a shot because if you don't, everything gets real congested up at the line. I think that's what the Steelers are running into. Now, Najee Harris looks like he has some bursts and doesn't have some bursts sometimes. Is there something going on with him? He looks different than he did last year, right? Am I wrong in thinking that?
Is it his foot? Like I know he sprained Liz
Probably,
Frank
right?
Well, and last year he was the one, there was no running back too. Last night that guy came in and had a couple explosive plays. I mean, you could see that something.
It's weird
because
Naj does some plays. You're right, Pat. He looks like Naj, and he finishes. He's throwing dudes at the end of plays. He's running people over. And then other plays, he looks like, maybe he's not 100%. He doesn't fully trust himself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and that might be, and it might be good news. We might be looking at this kind of negative, like maybe the Liz Frank, what was it, sprain?
Which, I didn't know was possible. I thought it was either boom, it's gone, surgery or not.
Yeah, I know. I don't. That's a tough because surgery gets it fixed completely. Like a sprain. Like it's like the body kind of handles it. Like the body will figure this out. Like we talked about the shoulder the other day. So maybe he's just going to get healthier.
Hopefully. That's the hope. Yeah, it doesn't just get worse and worse as the year goes. Mike Tomlin afterwards, obviously that he addresses it. They ask him, are you making a QB change? What are you doing? And he eventually says definitively no. I believe we have the clip right here. Thanks, Evie. Let's check this out.
Mike, heading into the mini bye that you guys have, do you consider making any changes, whether quarterback play calling?
I'm not in that mindset.
Okay.
I'm interested in reviewing this tape and looking at the totality of it and figuring out how we collectively get better.
It's not a no.
The answer to that question is definitively no.
Nowadays.
Did you think of Trubisky's performance?
I thought he made some plays, man, but we all collectively came up short. And so, that's how we measure performance, man. Winning is our business, and we didn't handle business. And so we don't.
I love it. I love Mike Tomlin. Winning is our business, and we didn't handle business. But at first, when he said, they asked him, would you consider or could you make a change at the quarterback position? No, right now I'm not in that mindset. I just want to break this film down, which is kind of the cliche coach's answer when you're not really sure what you're going to do. But then he comes back and says so that the answer is definitively no. So which one is it, you think?
I mean, does it matter? Like, it's fun to talk about Kenny Pickett being, hometown kid.
This team needs some juice, though. You know that.
They
This
do.
team absolutely needs something to spark them. It feels like there's a weird haze over, at least last night. I understand we're overreacting. This is what we do, and it's early in the season, but they need something to jumpstart them. I'm not saying Kenny's that guy, but maybe it's Mitch. Maybe I don't know what you do, though.
Especially last night on Amazon, when Kirk and Al are talking about how good the O-line has played when that's been a real, hey, they might just stink on the O-line all year. Everyone's saying everything about Matt Canada, but that's what I think it was Todd Haley said it earlier this week. It's like the Steelers probably aren't going to win a Super Bowl this year. They could, it's possible, but why not just put Kenny in there when they have these other young wide receivers, and let them kind of build some chemistry together and see what happens? Because Mitch isn't the long-term future. He's just not.
Yeah, I guess you were hoping when you signed Mitch and you drafted Kenny, okay, let's plug Mitch in here. Kenny can learn from him, right? He can figure this thing out, and we want Mitch to play as long as he possibly does. Hopefully we don't have to even think of pulling this guy or taking him out. But now we're sitting here in week 3, and a lot of people are asking, what do we do at the quarterback position?
And if I'm not mistaken, they have a murderer's row coming up. They might play the Jets next week. Yeah.
What's it look like, Nick? Do you know?
Yeah, they got the Jets next week, but then you work in, I think it's Philly. I can't even remember.
Tampa's in there.
Yeah, it's going to get rough.
It's hard to win the NFL, man.
Yeah, I think Baltimore too. Because
okay, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but if they throw Kenny in and we see pretty much what we've seen so far out of this Steelers offense, then are they like, hey, now where do we go from here? What are we supposed to do? Now the whole season's a wrap? What? I don't know. I think it'd be fun to watch Kenny play, but also at the same time, I feel for Mitch. I really do. He seems like, I know in all of sports, confidence is gigantic for anybody. And I don't know how Mitch has any confidence at all right now.
Yeah, and Nick could speak to it better as an actual Steelers fan, but as a Packers fan, it's the same deal. It's if you put him in, Steelers fans, they're not expecting you to go to 5-12. That doesn't happen. The expectation is still, hey, this team should win 10 games, 11 games, and make the playoffs. And if that doesn't happen, then is it, the same deal where it's oh, fucking Kenny stinks too. What do you know?
Yeah, where do we go? Yeah, what do you think, Nick?
It's not like Mitch has been outright terrible, right?
No.
He's been almost borderline adequate is maybe a good way to say it. He's made some throws. It's you watch him and you just don't get a sense of confidence in him or the receivers and the whole group working together. He's got a little bit of happy feet in the pocket, so I see why they try and get him out and try and work those bootlegs. And
he looked great early.
Change the launch angle, as they like to say on the broadcast, and that does work. Like we said, it worked early, but that's not. I don't know if that's sustainable. When you go down a score, or you're down 2 scores, you can just tell he's shaking in his boots back there.
It just feels and I don't know how much confidence the receivers have in him as well, and I don't know how much goes to Matt Canada and the scheme, what you do. I know I saw the graphic, I believe. Looks like a lot of Mitch's throws are outside, right? There's not a whole lot of shots taken in the middle of the field until the 4th quarter, I believe. Why is that?
Freiermuth didn't have a catch until the last, 3 minutes in the 4th quarter.
2 in a row, bam, bam, 2 big ones in a row.
Yeah, and it's the line or the Browns linebackers are depleted due to injury. They were going into the game depleted due to injury, and then they had 2 injuries to the linebacking core. It's that middle of the field, you should be able to work something there. Now, great, Jacob Phillips came in for the Browns. He made a couple nice plays. But you're working with Muth, who's a pretty good tight end, pretty adequate pass catcher, and they're just not working, not looking. I don't know. That's the whole question. Is it the system, or is it Mitch's decision-making, or is it a combination of the two?
I think it's always kind of a combination of all of them. It's never just one thing. It's never cut and dry. Here it is. We do this, or we take care of this. Everything's great. It's always a combination of everything. There's a balance.
He seems gun-shy. He seems like he's afraid to make a mistake and turn it over. So finally we saw him throwing up some balls that could be some contested catches, some one-on-ones. You saw Pickens with the absolute beauty of a grab. But Deontay had a couple shots at those too. He wasn't doing that earlier. It's he's never thrown a pick 6 in his career, right? That's his big thing. They say Mitch Trubisky has never thrown a pick 6.
Protects the ball.
Yeah, but at some point you got to take some chances.
Didn't Kirk mention that? Didn't Kirk even talk about a guy that, I don't know if it was Kirk or maybe on here or whoever, if a guy doesn't, if their TD to INT ratio is they don't throw many picks, but they don't throw a ton of touchdowns. Maybe you need to throw a couple more picks, bud. You need to take a chance and take some shots down the field. You got to put yourself out there if you want to make those explosive plays.
And it goes both ways, too, because I feel with that receiver, they have a lot of talent on offense. They really do. Chase Claypool, you look at what he, how he's built and everything, what he could do. He should be a beast for them, but for whatever reason, he has one end around for 11 yards and 2 catches for 18 yards every single game. And it's why isn't this guy going out there and just eating?